Boom, boom, boom. It's the best theme song ever. Book and Beyond.
Hi, my name is Mr. Shay with the Ridgefield Library. Welcome to Book and Beyond. So I will be reading you this book. I'll ask a few discussion questions, and then I will give you a challenge, some sort of hands-on activity that you can try at home. You ready? Let's get started.
Boom, 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 boom.
Alfie by Thyra Heder. So she is the author and the illustrator, which means she wrote the words and drew the pictures. And then here on the title page, we have this very intriguing subtitle. So we have Alfie, the turtle that disappeared. On my 6th birthday, I got Alfie. The lady at the store said he looked about 6 too. We were 6 together. At home on my carpet, he stood very still. This nice illustration down here. I introduced him to everyone. I taught him my wiggle dance and made him presents, but he didn't seem to notice. I showed him my costumes and wrote him songs, but mostly he stayed inside his shell. It's a pretty great costume there. Every day I told him stories, like how Dasha got new overalls, and how Ruth lost a tooth, and how Peter from downstairs got a fish. I even told him my best joke about the walrus wearing pants, but he didn't seem to get it. After a while, I kind of forgot about Alfie. He didn't do much. Well, until the morning of my 7th birthday, when he disappeared. And then, this is very interesting. We have the girl Nia, and now we're swapping to the turtle. So now we'll get to hear Alfie's story. When I first saw Nia, I knew she was special. She told me that I was 6, and she was 6 too. I had never been 6 before, but I was happy we were 6 together. Her home tickled my toes, but she smelled nice, so I was calm. She had tons of friends. Nia taught me to dance. I practiced wiggling inside my shell. She gave me presents. I had never been given presents. I like that little turtle smile right there. She made me laugh and laugh and laugh. Look at that face. How could I make her as happy as she made me? I had to think. And think. And think. Nia was planning her 7th birthday. She told me we were going to be 7 together. I had to find her a present. There were some good options behind the couch, but they were too dusty. And then if you look in the background here, you can see Nia looking for him. I looked in all the corners and shadows and cracks and found some great places, but no great presents. Then you want to see the great place he found? The slipper! I asked Toby, and he said, "You should try outside. Outside is the best. Outside is the best. Get her a stick." And then I love here, can see that Toby's words right here are all uppercase. And there are like 3 exclamation points. Tells you he's very excited. Oh my god. I had never been outside before. I climbed past stinky things and sweet things, but nothing as fun as Nia. And if you can see, you have to look at the illustration to see the stinky things and the sweet things that Alfie is talking about. So you got some stinky shoes there, and then some sweet flowers. I already read that part. Here we go. I had to keep looking. take a risk. Then he jumps down to this pile of leaves. I crunched through the reds and oranges and yellows, but the longer I looked for a special one, the browner they got. And then here again, we have to look at the illustration to make sense of the words. So we see the reds and oranges and yellows. He's talking about the leaves here. At least that's how I interpret it. I found a nice blue cap, but it was too small for Nia's head. There was nothing in the desert. He's crossed the desert. Look at that cap there. So I like this because it's like a play on words. Because cap can mean a cap that you screw on a bottle, and that's what he's found. But to him, it's a cap like a cap you wear on your head, like a hat. He looks very cute in his blue cap. Uh-oh. My toes were cold, and my heart was sad. He's here in the rain. I would never find a present as special as my friend. The snail said, all I needed was a good rest. He knew the perfect place for me to take a nap. Just over those stones, he said. And then just like with the dog earlier, the way that the snail's dialogue is written tells you how to read it. If you can see, there's a period after each word, which sort of tells you to go slowly. Slowly like a snail. Oh. So I napped and napped and napped. Look, the seasons are changing here. When I woke up, I felt better. I asked the fish for help, and she showed me the things that had fallen to the bottom. And then I saw it. It was perfect. It looked like, just like something Nia would love. And again, if you look at the illustration, my guess is he's going for that turtle keychain right there. I had to rush to the party. When I finally got over the rocks, the snail said, that was fast. I was right on time. There she was. And then I love this illustration. We got the turtle, Alfie, with the tiny turtle on his back. I could tell Nia was very surprised and happy. I had brought her the perfect present. Now we were 7 together. And then I love this. See, again, you have to look at the illustration to guess why Nia is so surprised. Because she's turning 8, so it's been a whole year. It was a very, very long nap, Alfie. And then we have here, the last page, you have Nia and Alfie, and the keychain's right there, but I love that she's just so happy to get her pet back.
Bum, 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 bum.
Alright, so I'm going to ask a few questions. These are all open-ended questions, so there's no right or wrong answer. It's just how you feel and what you think. So you can either write your opinions down, you can think about them in your head, or if you're watching this video with other people, y'all can discuss your opinions with each other. So my first question is, what did you like about this book? Did you have a favorite character, or a favorite illustration, or a favorite scene? My second question is, what did you dislike about this book? Was there anything you wish had been done differently by the artist or author? Or in this case, the same person. The artist/author. My third question is, what words would you use to describe Nia, as far as like her personality, the way she behaves? What words would you use to describe Alfie? And then what do they have in common, and what are their differences? This is something fun for most books you read, to compare the different characters to each other and then how they interact. Alright, so my final series of questions is particular to this book, and what I think is one of the most interesting aspects of this book, which is the point of view. So if you haven't studied point of view yet, I'll include a resource down below that'll give you sort of an overview of it. But basically, the point of view is who is telling the story and how is it being told? So this story is told from first person point of view. That means it says, for example, on my 6th birthday, I got Alfie. Instead of saying, on her 6th birthday, Nia got Alfie, which would be that would be third person. So this is first person. But then halfway through, it shifts from Mia's first person point of view, where the person who says I is Mia telling you the story, and it goes to Alfie's point of view. So the words still say I, but now the I that's speaking is the turtle. So how would this book have been different if, for example, it was told all from Mia's point of view? Or if it were told from the dog's or the snail's point of view? Why do you think the author chose to tell half from Mia's point of view and half from Alfie's?
Bum, 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 bum.
Alright, so now it's time for our activity. So our activity is a mission. So y'all can see I have this very awesome fort here. But what would be even cooler if, like Alfie, I could take my fort on my back with me. So how Alfie has this shell that he can travel around in, he can hide inside it and do his dance, but the shell comes with him no matter where he journeys. So, my mission to you is to design a fort that can move with you. You can either do this with a pen or with writing utensils, so you can do it on paper. That one's kind of nice because then you have the full extent of your imagination. You aren't limited by your supplies at hand. But you could also do this for a stuffed animal. Maybe build something out of Legos and a t-shirt or whatever supplies you want to build a miniature one. Or, if you're feeling very extra and you promise to clean up afterwards, you could try and build one for yourself, like a life-size fort that could move with you as you crawl or go around your house. Alright, so that is your hands-on activity. If you want to send me a picture, I would love that. I'll put my email address in the text below. Alright, so again, this was Alfie, and we will see you next time. Bye.